The courtroom was filled with high energy and anticipation. People had gathered, not for a regular case, but for a showdown between two larger-than-life figures. Elon Musk, known for his fearless ventures and bold statements, stood confidently at his table. Across the room sat Judge John Roberts, a man whose reputation for wit and sternness was equally famous. As proceedings began, it was clear this would be no ordinary day in court. Everything seemed routine until Musk made a comment that caused Judge Roberts to chuckle under his breath. The laughter, light but noticeable, rippled across the room. Cameras clicked rapidly, reporters scribbled frantically, and everyone leaned forward, sensing the drama that was about to unfold. Musk, undeterred by the unexpected laugh, gave a small smile. "I suppose," he said, addressing the judge, "some ideas seem laughable before they become inevitable." The room grew quieter. Some in the gallery smirked, others raised their eyebrows. It was a daring thing to say to Chief Justice, especially inside the court. Roberts leaned back in his chair, the smile still playing on his lips. "Mr. Musk," he said smoothly, "we've seen many dreamers in this courtroom. Only time tells whether they change the world or merely amuse it." It was meant to be a sharp jab, but Musk didn't flinch. Instead, he nodded slightly, as if acknowledging a challenge he was ready to meet. The proceedings moved forward, but the tension lingered. Roberts' laughter, casual though it had seemed, had set a tone. Yet, Musk's calm demeanor suggested he had something up his sleeve. As lawyers debated back and forth, Musk remained focused, jotting down notes and occasionally glancing at the judge with a knowing look. It was the kind of glance that said, "Wait, just wait." The courtroom audience, sensing the brewing storm, watched closely. Everyone knew that when Elon Musk had something to prove, he didn't just aim to win, he aimed to make history. Hours passed. Testimonies were heard. Documents were presented. Musk remained silent through most of it, letting the process unfold naturally. Then, during a break, when the courtroom buzzed with murmurs, Musk whispered something to his lawyer. A few heads turned, catching the movement. A few minutes later, as court reconvened, Musk requested to make a personal statement. The judge raised an eyebrow but allowed it. This was not typical procedure, but then again, nothing about Elon Musk was typical. The room stilled. Musk rose, walked to the center, and turned to face Roberts directly. "Your Honor," Musk began, his voice calm but carrying a quiet intensity, "you laughed earlier when I mentioned a concept most find unrealistic. Allow me to demonstrate why it's not only realistic but already happening." The judge nodded slightly, curious. Musk reached onto a briefcase and pulled out a small, sleek device. It wasn't recognizable at first glance. Some thought it was a new phone, others a gadget. Musk held it up for all to see. "This," he said, "is the prototype of a technology that will revolutionize transportation, communication, and medicine all at once." Gasps echoed lightly through the gallery. The judge leaned forward, interest flickering in his eyes. Musk walked over to the bailiff and handed him the device, asking him to pass it to the bench. Cautiously, the bailiff did as instructed. Roberts examined the device, turning it over in his hand. "What is it?" he asked, genuinely intrigued. Musk smiled. "A Neuralink interface," he replied. "Not theory, not a concept, a working prototype. It allows direct thought communication between humans and between humans and machines." The courtroom shifted uncomfortably, as if realizing they were witnessing something far bigger than a legal debate. Roberts narrowed his eyes. "Are you suggesting that you have developed a way for humans to control devices with their minds?" Musk nodded. "Not suggesting," he said, "proving." He then requested permission to perform a live demonstration. The courtroom buzzed. Some objected, others whispered excitedly. Roberts, to everyone's surprise, allowed it. Musk tapped his wrist, seemingly connecting to something unseen. Suddenly, the lights in the courtroom dimmed, a screen descended from the ceiling, and a presentation lit up the wall, all without him moving a finger. The demonstration was flawless. Images, videos, charts, all controlled by Musk's mind. He changed slides, zoomed in on images, scrolled through data, simply by thinking. The gallery gasped. Reporters' hands flew over their keyboards, trying to capture what they were seeing. Even Roberts looked stunned, his earlier amusement completely gone. Musk wasn't just making a point, he was obliterating every doubt with cold, hard reality. This was beyond innovation, it was pure evolution, unfolding before their eyes. Musk spoke softly over the presentation. This technology has been tested with positive results, he said. Imagine a world where disabled individuals regain movement, where learning is accelerated tenfold, where communication barriers cease to exist. His vision wasn't a distant dream anymore, it was breathing, living possibility. The courtroom sat in stunned silence, grappling with the enormity of what they were witnessing. Roberts slowly set the device down, staring at Musk as if seeing him for the first time. And yet, Musk continued, when I mentioned this earlier, laughter was the first response. History is filled with laughter at the pioneers who dared to think differently. His words were not angry, but they carried a weight that settled heavily in the room. Laughter, he said, is merely the sound of fear masquerading as mockery. The quote hung in the air like a bell that had been struck up within everyone's chest. No one dared move or speak. Musk had turned the courtroom into a place of revelation. Roberts finally spoke, his voice lower than before. This is unprecedented. Musk inclined his head respectfully. So was flight, he replied. So was electricity. So was the internet. His confidence was not arrogance, it was a calm assurance born from knowing what he held in his hands. The room was no longer witnessing a legal chasm, they were witnessing the beginning of a new era. Everyone knew they would remember this moment for the rest of their lives. Roberts leaned back, visibly shaken but fascinated. What are the implications? He asked quietly. Musk smiled slightly. Boundlessness, he answered. Medicine, education, defense, communication. The possibilities are endless. But with great power, he added, comes great responsibility, which is why transparency and ethical regulation must be part of the foundation from day one. His statement was not just a pitch, it was a warning, a call for foresight in the face of explosive innovation. One lawyer tried to object, mumbling something about untested technology and risks. Musk addressed it head-on. Every revolutionary tool carries risks, he said. The printing press, the automobile, the internet. It's not about preventing risks, it's about managing them wisely. His answer left little room for debate. Musk wasn't Nigel de Macronville about the dangers. He was simply unafraid to confront them, armed with facts, vision, and resolve. It was becoming clear to everyone that this was not just another tech pitch, this was the unveiling of the future. Slowly, Roberts nodded, visibly impressed despite himself. The air shifted in the room. Musk had transformed from a defendant to a visionary leader within minutes. And though Roberts had laughed earlier, there was no trace of humor now, only a deep, abiding respect. Mr. Musk, he said, you have certainly lived up to your reputation for surprising people. The comment, spoken softly, carried a tone of admiration rather than sarcasm. Musk chuckled lightly. Surprising people, he said, is only the first step. Empowering them is the real goal. His words were sincere, stripped of any theatrics. It was a glimpse into the mind of a man who didn't just dream about changing the world, he systematically worked toward it. Every single day. The gallery burst into quiet applause, not loud enough to disrupt the court's decorum, but enough to be felt, to be heard, to be acknowledged. The court session ended not with a bang, but with a kind of quiet awe. Roberts dismissed the court, but many lingered, unwilling to leave the place where history had just been made. Reporters rushed to send out headlines. Elon Musk shocks Supreme Court. Some read, new era begins in courtroom. Read others. Musk packed up his briefcase, nodded politely to the judge, and left the room surrounded by murmurs of wonder and disbelief. As Musk exited the courtroom steps into the blinding sunlight, journalists flooded him with questions. Mr. Musk, what's next? Someone shouted. Musk paused, thought for a second, and simply said, we build. No dramatic speeches. No self-congratulations, just two words that hinted at an unstoppable march toward the future. The crowd parted as he walked through, almost reverently, as if they were witnessing a general heading into a new, uncharted battlefield. Back inside, Roberts remained seated for a few moments, lost in thought. The laughter he had shown earlier seemed almost childish now, like mocking the Wright brothers before they took flight. He shook his head, smiling wryly at the reminder that the future waits for no one, and laughs last at those who fail to believe. Musk had not just defended himself, he had redefined the battleground entirely. In the days that followed, News coverage exploded worldwide. Talk shows, newspapers, and online forums buzzed with debates about the implications of Musk's demonstration. Was humanity ready for the next leap forward? Was the world prepared for the acceleration Musk promised? One thing was certain. Nobody could deny that change was coming, and it was coming fast. Musk had sent a message not just to the court, but to the world. Judge John Roberts laughed at Elon Musk in court, but Musk didn't just change the mood, he changed the conversation. He shocked the courtroom into silence, turned skeptics into believers, and left a mark that would echo through history. Sometimes, the most powerful answer to laughter is a vision so extraordinary that the world has no choice but to stop laughing and start dreaming.